Hi everyone, I hope everyone is doing great and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm gonna travel from Auckland to Hamilton and then from Hamilton to Cambridge. So this Cambridge is not the Cambridge in Britain, it's Cambridge in New Zealand, and it's a very beautiful town. As I mentioned, I'm gonna travel to Hamilton, so I'll spend some time in Hamilton Garden. That's very beautiful place or a wonderful place to have good time and experience gardens from different countries around the world. So right now I'm on my way to Hamilton. I'm just 30 minutes away from Auckland. Today is Sunday. It's a very beautiful day. As you can see, the weather is nice. So the destination itself, both destinations, Hamilton and Cambridge, they are beautiful and wonderful cities to live in. And other than that, the travel or the roads, as usual in New Zealand, they are very green and lush, and that's very beautiful also. So if you are new, you can follow the Google Maps or any location services. Most of the location services works very well in New Zealand, and you have to drive on the motorway. So the speed limit is around 100. In some areas it's 110 also. So usually on motorways in New Zealand the speed limit is 100, as you might have noticed, but in some zones it's 110, 110. So the moment you step away from the cities, you start experiencing the natural beauty of New Zealand, as you can see in this video also. So right now I can see a very beautiful farm on my left side. As you can see, these are cows, I guess. They are enjoying the green grass of New Zealand. So there is a concept of free range, or you can say grass fed meat in New Zealand. You know, New Zealand is famous about meat and milk products. So grass fed animals are common here. It's not like some other countries where they feed some kind of other feeds to the animals. So yeah, just like as usual, you will find cops on the road or police on the road. Definitely, it's a motorway, so and you will find them in unmarked vehicles also. So be safe and drive carefully. Always follow the traffic rules. So if you are not in a mood to drive and you want to experience the beauty of New Zealand, an alternate option is to ride a train. So there is a train from Auckland to Hamilton as well. And traveling through train in New Zealand is also a wonderful experience because the train has its own route, and the beauty is simply amazing, and it's more beautiful as compared to traveling through roads. Anyhow, traveling through roads is also wonderful. As you can see in front of me, beautiful green lush mountains. The weather is now spring, so that's also one of the reason you see a lot of greenery everywhere. So as I mentioned earlier, in some zones the speed limit is 110, so now I'm in 110 zone. So a little bit about the Hamilton Gardens. Uh, it's basically a very good and beautiful place to have good time, and the reason it's very beautiful because they have different gardens which represents different countries. So for example, they have a garden which represents India, they have a garden which represents Egypt, they have a garden which represents Japan. So and each garden or the garden representing the country, they have the plants or decors according to that country. So it basically gives you a picture how does that country looks like in terms of the plants, or what kind of plants they grow there. So right now I'm in Hamilton. I'm close to the Hamilton Gardens, just trying to find a car park. So another good thing about Hamilton is you don't have to worry about parking fee or finding the car park as compared to Auckland, because in Auckland car park is not cheap and it's difficult to find a free park, or it's difficult to find a park. It's difficult to find car park in the city anyhow. So after parking, once you enter the Hamilton Garden, the first thing you will see is the map. As you can see, just have a look at it. It will give you an idea about all the key spots or key places in the Hamilton Garden. So right after the entry, on the left side, you see the green lush grounds. On the right side, there is information center, and there is a bike parking, or a place where you can park your bike, and there is something to repair your bike also, or if you want to cycle around the Hamilton Garden, you don't have to worry about it, especially if when it's about inflating the tires, as there is a pump also installed to inflate the tires, and you can do some minor repair works also, just in case if you need it. Well, this is a good thing to promote the cycling, because cycling is good for health. It keeps you moving anyhow. So on the left side of the information center, there is a beautiful lake. It's a good spot to have selfies or photos. And besides the lake, there is a cafe and ice cream shop. Today is Sunday, so it's a little bit crowded. I will not call it crowded. You will see some people here, but on a usual day, it's not crowded like it's today. So I think they have a fish also in the lake, but definitely fishing is not allowed here. Well, so other than the gardens, which I will show you shortly, there is a very big and beautiful track for hike or run, and this track is along with the Waikato River. As you can see on my right side, that's basically Waikato River, and it's a good track for people who love to hike or who love to run. Other than the track, there are some nice and cool spots to sit, relax, or do some kind of barbecue maybe, or have a good time with the Waikato River. As you can see, the water in the river is very clean, just like maybe just like sea. It's crystal clear. That's the beauty of the New Zealand. So the beach, lakes, and sea is very clean here. You can hike up to the hill if you like hiking, or you can simply just relax and sit alongside the Waikato River. Anyhow, let's move towards the gardens. So the gardens have an entry fee for those who are not living in Hamilton. So anyone who is living other than Hamilton have to pay an entry fee. So once you pay the entry fee, they'll give you some guidance and a map, and let you explore the gardens at your own pace. So the first garden, as you can see, this is a paradise garden. I'm entering into it. So maybe the name itself is paradise, so somehow it represents the picture of the paradise. Then there is another one, Indian garden, Japanese garden, Egypt garden, and so on. So this is the Indian garden. It basically represents some plants or flowers and some architecture information of the India. So there is a garden in India called Chahar Bagh, I think. So it's basically represent that garden. So Chahar Bagh is also a garden in India that's very famous. The next one is Japanese garden. So again, another beautiful garden which represents Japan, and it shows some information about the plants, or how does cool places looks like, or how does the cultural places looks like in Japan. It's very calm and peaceful here. uh, I think they just want to show the cultural places in Japan, or places like this are very uh, wonderful and very peaceful. So after the Japan, the next one is the Chinese garden. So as you can see, there is some signage about music. Today, I think it's a Sunday, that's why there is no music. So anyhow, let's head towards the Chinese one. So the Chinese garden is one of the biggest one, and it's also very beautiful, representing the picture of China. And it's so big, you need at least 15 to 20 minutes, or maybe 30 minutes to have a look at this one. As compared to Japanese, it's very big one. A very interesting thing which I have discovered here is about the Himalayan or Tibet music. So if you love that one, so that's basically based on the bamboo sounds. So they have bamboo trees, as you can see here, and when the wind passes through, it creates a very beautiful and a wonderful sound, just like the Tibetan music. So after the Chinese garden, the next one is productive garden. Some people call it Mowbray garden as well. So in English it's productive garden, and in Mowbray language it's Tea Parapara garden. It represents the Maori culture in New Zealand, and you can say it represents the history of the New Zealand, and that's the only garden in New Zealand which represents the Maori culture, or which shows the information about the history of the Maori people. So once again, another beautiful and cool garden. As you can see in front of me, that's one of the entrance. I think these faces, or these wood carvings, are basically something related to Maori culture or Maori gods, something like that. So another beautiful spot. Uh, I don't know what exactly it is representing, but definitely it's beautiful, and it's showing a very strong culture place, or it's simply wonderful. So the next one is surrealist garden or fantasy garden. It's basically a 1930s garden or passageway, and it's more about fantasy world, and it has extreme scale distortions, and the lawns here are basically carved up like a sheet of paper, and a dozen white roses instead of the roses. So a little bit history about it. Traditionally, Chinese were the masters of such gardens, and their gardens often represented vast mythical landscapes at a miniature scale. So again, this is a kind of very confusing or a garden with a lot of distortions, but a good one, and definitely an experience which everyone should have, or everyone who is visiting the Hamilton Garden must visit this one also. And again, it's a good place to have photos. So the next one after the fantasy or surrealist garden is the tropical garden. So the tropical garden basically it represents the climate, or not climate, sorry, it represents the plants, or the picture of the tropical countries, or if you have ever visited during the vacation countries like Fiji or maybe Bali, so you have seen such kind of plants there. So unfortunately the New Zealand weather is not tropical, but they have grown the plants which look like tropical. These plants are not exactly tropical plants. I wasn't aware about this information. There was some information displayed at the beginning of this garden. So after the tropical garden, there is a garden which represents the Western Europe, and the smell in this garden is very beautiful. It's because of the flowers. It's something like jasmine. I'm not sure if these are jasmine flowers, but the fragrance is very good. And after this garden, the next one is a garden called kitchen garden, which basically shows how the vegetables are grown, or how does the plants or the vegetable plants looks like. So after the kitchen's garden, the next one and the last one and the most wonderful one is the ancient Egyptian garden. It represents the strong history, or it represents the information about the ancient Egyptian history, about their gods, or the stories which we used to hear. And it's one of the most beautiful gardens. Most of the people like this because of its architect. As you can see, this is the main entrance, and the wall carvings are very beautiful, and it gives you a feeling like you are in Egypt. And in the center of the garden, they have a very beautiful pool, and the pool has basically fishes in it, and the fishes are also very beautiful. Yeah, so this garden basically represents the history of the Egypt, or the moment you walked into this garden, you feel like you have traveled maybe 2000 or 3000 years back. So it shows how does the temples or religious places of the Egyptians looked like, the pillars, or it also shows something about the symbolism. So each element of the temple court was symbolic back at that time. So the massive wall on each side of the entrance reflects basically two mountains on the horizon, between which the sun would rise each day, symbolizing rebirth. So it's like a lot of history about the Egyptian culture, or not Egyptian culture. Basically, it's basically a lot of history about the Egypt. And in the center of the garden, in the pool, you can see very beautiful fishes, and it's a good garden for the kids also, because it has beautiful fishes and beautiful wall carvings or drawings. So sometimes the kids love this kind of stuff. So that's all about the Hamilton Garden. I will wander in the Hamilton city, then I will head to Cambridge. I have covered the Cambridge, a beautiful town, in another video, which is basically part 2 of this series. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. I will see you around with another new video. Thank you very much.